I'll bring it on Tuesday.
Say again.
My homework. I'll do it on. I'll bring it on Tuesday.
You could probably do it in class right now. Open the book and just get it done.
Well, no, yes, we do. It's just in the middle of. Oh, that's.
What do you mean? Am I sure? Am I in the right class?
Like 7.
What? No, I'm good. I'm good.
I'm a Sprite cranberry. You do lunch
Yeah.
Hey.
All right. Raise your hands for lunch.
What is it? Wait, no, not me. No. Oh, can I show you something? 4, look at it. It has my name.
7, 8.
What's your name? Sure, yeah. Look at it. It has my name on it now.
Turkey chicken shoes.
Mr. 38. I have a question about
1 second.
seriously. Where are we going to eat today?
Where are you going to eat today? Where did you eat last Friday?
Oh, we ate everywhere. Food train. We ate literally everywhere.
Well, the cafeteria is open. So where did you eat yesterday?
Mr. Canelo.
We'll have it figured out by lunchtime.
We better.
Last Friday. Yeah, last Friday. We were in that go sit and stare like 5 times. Yeah, we went up and down the stairs like a.
Well, we'll try to only have you do it 12 times this time.
My math book is in my locker.
Go get it.
Quadruple the amount.
But instead, I'm going to pick one for the hands.
Okay, we're eating outside.
Anybody besides Josh? Josh is the only one? Yeah. Jaden, we knew, yeah.
Are we doing assembly thingy today?
We are not.
No, I just like that one really. I tried that once, but my pants don't allow it. I did it was the first comment.
All right, quiet please. Jameson, find your seat. Hey, quiet please.
We also have a test today.
All right, any questions on the homework before we grade it? 2-step equations. We have a nice, easy day today. I don't even know what time we get out of here. We get out of here at 8:25.
Did we have student assist?
No.
Jameson, did you pay any attention to the last 5 minutes? Or did you just swing that thing around and try to hit people?
I wasn't trying to hit.
I wasn't here for the last 5 minutes.
There is no assembly.
He was hitting himself in the brain so then he can get
All right. That doesn't work. I tried it.
What if we weren't here for the last 5 minutes? Mr. Chartier.
All right, are there any questions on the homework before we grade it?
Banging your head against.
All right, let us grade this. Here we go. Now remember, as in all algebra problems, when you're solving an equation, the answer is always variable equals whatever the answer is. If you leave that off, technically I will, I won't take off lots of points, but I will take off some points because you're not answering the question. All right, so you had 1 through 6 all. Number 1, n is equal to 11. Number 2, n is equal to 5. Number 3, n is equal to 7. Number 4, n is equal to 6. Number 5, n is equal to 11. And number 6, n is equal to 8. And we pick up with number 11. Number 11, n is equal to 80. Number 12, n is equal to 256.
Close.
Number 13, n is equal to 30, 30. Number 14, n is equal to 54. Number 15, n is equal to 55. Number 16, n is equal to 20. Number 17, n is equal to 24. And the last one, number 18, n is equal to
8.
30.
Number 17 is
24.
I got 6 8.
Let's look at number 17. Number 17 says the following. Hush, please. 2/3 n plus 12 equals 28. Malachi, first step. Hey, guys. Perfect. Good first step. This is what should be on all of your papers, including the horizontal line. Well, 12 from 12 is 0, so we're left with 2/3 n equals 28 minus 12 is 16. Okay. Hey, we got a fraction attached to a variable by multiplication. Malachi's already saying flip it. So that's what we're going to multiply both sides. Technically, you get rid of multiplication by division. So we're dividing by 2/3. When you divide by a fraction, that's the same as multiplying by reciprocal, copy, dot, flip. So we're going to multiply both sides by 3/2 times 3/2. Those cancel. On this side, I put a 1. Anything cross reduce?
Yes.
2 in the 16.
8, 1 and 8.
1 and 8. 8 times 3 is?
24.
And that's why the answer is 24. So n equals 24 is the answer.
How did I get Abraham Lincoln?
All right. Pass out. Click home. All right. Hey, we only have a few. Listen, please. We only have a few grades in the grade book, right? You miss an assignment, which some of you have. You don't turn it in. It has an outsized effect right now on your overall grade.
It drops your grade to a D.
It drops your grade precipitously because we only have a few grades. Guys, you're talking, you're not listening. Drops your grade precipitously because we only have a few grades in the grade book. Now we have a quiz grade. Right? If you scored poorly on this quiz, 1 or 2 people did, right? It's really going to drop your grade a lot. Test is the week after next. That's our next big thing. Make sure you're doing your homework and you're, in fact, turning it in on time so you don't lose any points for turning things in late. All right, good news. Well, no, it's only a good news story today. Good news is it's Friday, and all we're doing is a quick review about yesterday's material, which was what you had for homework. Okay, so 8.5b is simply a quick review on 2 steps. I'm not going to show you any harder 2 steps. I'm not going to show you any easier ones either. It's just 2-step equations. 2 solid days of work on 2-step equations, so that by the time that you get to course 2, which is actually called pre-algebra next year, you're rock solid on solving 2-step equations. What's up? You will have homework. It's a worksheet I will hand out in about, I don't think it's going to take me longer than 10 minutes, right? At the end of, no, we're not skipping anything. At the end of 10 minutes, I will hand you out 2 things, which are, 1, I'll hand you your quiz back, and then 2, I will give you the worksheet and you can get started on it. Okay. Everybody ready?
No, I'm done with the. Let's do this.
All right. Here we go. You need to write the homework down, you're okay.
What? I did it. What's for that?
I'm going to hand you a worksheet at the end.
Oh, I'm already done.
Most of the time when I hand you, if we have a second day, I always also hand you, when a worksheet, I hand you,
The answer.
I'm going to hand you all of the answers. The purpose of this is the first day you get to struggle with it. Maybe you didn't struggle with it.
Check your work.
The second time is now you confirm that you got this solid, like there's no questions. So like on number 17 and you got 20 or whatever you got, and the answer is 24, you can identify what your mistake was. You know, the thought process is that you already know how to solve a 2-step equation. Therefore, you can use that second day of practice to work on how do you keep yourself from making those silly math mistakes, right? Like Lily subtracting the wrong thing from both sides. So if she sees that the answer is 8 and she gets 12, she can go back to that problem and try to figure out what did I do wrong? So that it's kind of a twofer. 1, you're doing a little bit of practice, but 2, you get to work on, hey, where do I make my mistakes? How can I stop myself from making those silly mistakes that take points away? It keeps me from getting that A. All right, solving 2-step equation. I said this would take about 10 minutes. Last class, we talked about how to solve 2-step equations, and I threw this big honking equation up there, and I said it's called a 2-step equation because there are 2 numbers you need to get rid of. On the side that the variable is on, the left side there's a 3, and then there's a 6. So there's 2 numbers that I need to get rid of, one through division and one through addition or subtraction. And it will always be that case for 2-step equations. One of them will be attached by multiplication or division, and the other one will be attached by addition or subtraction. All right, and what we said was, well, the goal in algebra is get the variable by itself. And what we found out through a little bit of investigation is that it's easier to get rid of the subtraction or addition one first. It is not required. However, it is highly recommended that you get rid of the addition subtraction first. And I said almost always because there will be one case next year, and I always bring it up early. There'll be one time where you do not want to get rid of addition subtraction first. But you're not going to see it this year. You'll see it next year.
Okay.
All right, so to do this, we take that recommendation to get rid of the addition subtraction first. What's being added or subtracted to n?
6.
6. So what do we do to both sides, Lily?
Oh, we get plus 6 on both sides.
So on the quiz, what did you do? You did something like with the 15. Now notice on the 15, there's no variable over there. So yes, I'm trying to make this hard on you so that you don't make that mistake ever again. Okay. So what are we going to do to both sides, Lily?
Plus 6.
Perfect. So we add 6 to both sides. Now I can't stop you guys from doing a Gavin mistake of 15 plus 6, and you get
7. 22.
well, it's not going to be that bad, but yeah.
714.
But
22.
I'm just saying, if you do all this hard work of identifying what to get rid of, you write everything perfectly, Gavin, take your time. Maybe think about it 2 times before you write the answers.
It's 2.
And it better not be 9, it better be 21.
It's
Okay.
Mr. Chartier,
Yes,
I think that was a one-time mistake.
you did it twice
That
on
was
the
a
quiz.
multiple time.
Oh.
I think that was a 2-time mistake.
Okay,
And it will
so
continue.
Gavin, what's the next step?
The next step is you take the 3 and then you divide the 3 and then you divide 21 divided by 3.
So both sides we're going to divide by 3 because 3 is attached to n through multiplication. To get rid of multiplication, we divide both sides by 3.
And you know what that is? I think that is, that's 7.
That is 7. Good job. All right. On the left side, the 3 divided by 3 cancels. Remember, canceling is in fact turns it into 1. That big slash doesn't mean it goes away. It means it turns it into the number 1. 3 divided by 3 is 1. 1 times n is n. Right side is 7. You're done. Who was it? I forget who was it that forgot to put the equal. Who did the walk of shame? Nick. No, Nick didn't have this. Nick had a. He did. Everything on Nick's paper was right.
Yeah.
It was Matt. Matt, don't forget you put n equals. Nick literally found the right. He found 7, but instead of writing 7 for the answer, he wrote 6 or something. All right.
You put 14 and then you wrote 12.
Now, yesterday I mentioned the fact that you can do this thing called a. Okay, this is called a check step. It is optional in the sense of it is never required. However, when you're taking a quiz, which you took yesterday, or a test, which you will take in a week or 2, and you got time, do a check. I don't mean like I want to see writing on your paper. I'm saying do this in your head. We're claiming the answer is 7. You can check to see if it really is 7. If the answer is 7, if you throw it back into the original equation, it's got to make it true. 3 times 7 is minus 6 is. That's the check step. Do you have to write it on a piece of paper? You can put it on scratch paper. You can also, some of you, maybe not every one of you, can do that in your head. That's called a check step. It verifies that you got the correct answer. It's one of the few times in math where you can check your work very easily to see if you got the right answer. Most time in math, you can redo the problem, but here's an additional way of checking your work. I highly recommend it. In fact, if I teach you algebra again, which I should if you make it to high school, right? If you make it to high school in Algebra 1, whenever you're taking a test, I say it all the time, hey, you do some check steps, right? Did you check your work? That's what I mean. No. All right. So today's a practice day. All we're going to do is some couple quick ones in front of you. I'm looking at Ace's paper. He's already got it done. It looks good to me. I don't know if it's the right answers, but I can tell from this distance, it's format, it's perfect.
I did.
Okay. So let's do these. Box 1. Here we go. Bo, first step. What do we do to both sides? We're going to add 1. So for you lazy people out there, we're going to write +1 +1. We're going to put a horizontal bar. Okay. 17 + 1 is 18. No one's going to make that mistake.
I might mistake at the beginning.
Mr. Chartier.
I did at the beginning. I wrote -4.
All right. Now, if you write -1, right, you can certainly make that mistake. But usually I don't see too many people make a mistake when it looks like this. Next year, I'll show you what happens, and you can make a mistake on the first step. Bo, what's up?
I'll put 17 plus 1 equals 7.
Well, I take it all back then. Some people can make that mistake. All right. Jasmine, what's the last step? Both sides by. Perfect. And then all you got to do is do that math. 18 divided by 6 is 3. The 6 is canceled, so we're left with x is equal to 3. Yes?
Maybe.
Some people get intimidated because it looks like there's a fraction here. Well, there is a fraction here, but this one is actually pretty simple. Okay? First step. Malachi, what is it? Both sides with a horizontal bar. 10 minus 4 is 6. Okay? Kira, last step.
Write it.
Multiply 6 by the fraction.
Okay? I would rather you think of this, right? What's attached to the variable? How is it attached? How do we get rid of division? So we're going to multiply both sides by what number are we trying to get rid of?
1/3. 3.
3. Now, she said an interesting thing. She said this is really, there's always a 1 in front of x. This is really the fraction 1/3. Now, most people don't think of this way, but she's right. Well, we go back. How do you get rid of 1/3? We're going to multiply both sides by 3/1. Perfectly logical in a correct way. Most people don't go to that much detail. They just simply say multiply both sides by 3. But what you said was smart, and that was good. All right. If you didn't realize it 1/3, well, then I'm pointing out it is 1/3. Hey, boys, stop. Okay. The 3's cancel on the left side and on the right side. 6 times 3 is 18, and we are done. The last one I wanted to point out was the one that really does have a fraction on it. Well, I shouldn't say it like that. Doesn't really have a fraction. But this one visually has a fraction, and you can see the fraction, right? Who haven't I called? Keegan, what are we doing first? Box 3.
You add 6 to 6 and 12.
I'm going to add 6 to both sides.
Yes.
Right? 12 and 6 is 18. All right. Jameson, last step.
You multiply by 3
Both sides by.
4 over 3.
Right. This is that copied out flip one. So we're going to multiply both sides by 4/3. Remember the math behind that is 3/4 is attached by multiplication. You get rid of multiplication by division. So you're going to divide both sides by 3/4, which is the same as multiplying by the reciprocal of 3/4, which is 4/3. All right. So all we're stuck now is this ugly math over here. Anything cross reduce?
Yeah, 18 and 3, but they both come to 3.
So 3 goes in 3 once.
8, 6.
6 times 4 is.
24.
Hey, it's the same answer as that number 17 for homework. N equals 24.
Okay, this problem.
It's not the same problem.
6, 8. Worksheet.
Questions on anything we just did? All right. So for the remainder of the class, there's not that many.
There's 20.
There are 16 problems. So fewer than 20.
What?
We have about 10 or so minutes, right? I don't think that you can probably get all 16 done in the time remaining, but you can get most of them done. Hey, make sure you check the back. The back has the answers.
Check the back.
If you are making a mistake and you can identify your mistake, great. If you can't identify your mistake, call me over or talk to your smart friend next to you. Let them help you where I will. If you don't have a smart friend next to you, you need to.
I know smart people else. My smart friends next to me.
Yeah, your smart friend is nowhere.
Wait, what's today's date?
It's the 20. It's the 69.
I'll pass it on. She knows you have all the
It's 69. 69.
All right, I wrote that down.
Where's the 100 times?
Clearly not. I said, yes. Whenever we do a second day, it's a practice day. I always give you the answers so you can verify and do it.
I also
Wait,
have,
imagine.
I also have friends. They just live by
Can I
the
shop
seawall.
Yes.
My friends.
Okay, e-learners. Anyone live right now? There is no one live. So e-learners, have a good weekend. We'll see you next week. If you have any questions, the worksheet's already posted. If you have any questions on this, send me an email if you need any help, whatever. I will give it to you. See you later.
You forgot to record.
No, I recorded.